Hey guys, so my name is Bianca Contreras, and I will be talking about a topic that I believe is the most controversial and important in the community-based corrections. We shall just dive in. These are just a few relevant definitions that I believe, are important. People don't really hear them as often, and it's just, just a few to refresh everybody's memory about what I will be talking about today, because I will be mentioning these many times throughout my PowerPoint presentation. So why do individuals commit crime? Psychological factors. So I will be talking about two different types of factors, and I will be going into more depth about each of them, but I just want to point out that I don't believe that one or the other is the main reason why individuals commit crime. I believe it's both. So that being said, we shall continue. So the behavioral theory. This theory explains that why individuals pretty much commit crimes, I guess, just based on this theory. It states that people learn from their surroundings, just like the social learning theory states. Communities. This can explain why there is more crime in minority communities. That's what I meant to say. There are more gangs in those areas, and younger individuals are more likely to be sucked to the gang life. And, if they caught, they're just released and they go back to that same life. It's just, there's no going back. You just follow your friends' footsteps. You follow your uncles, your aunts, your mom and your dad footsteps. It's just kind of psychological. They believe it's correct, so you believe it's correct, and stuff like that. So the biological factors. Many individuals believe that the reasoning behind criminals are biological, and they have crime in their DNA. So if mom and dad committed murders earlier, then I will most likely too, because I have their same DNA. Even though that could be right in many ways, I don't believe it's 100% correct. I believe that there's still a lot of research. We can't 100% really say this is the reason why. It's through DNA. There's other factors that play into that. So, scientists have said that the XYY chromosome pack, males that have that are more prone to criminal behavior. And that is maybe something that they found and realized that, that they are more prone to criminal behavior, but it is not the reason why they are committing crimes. They're just more prone to it. They might be more aggressive. They might have certain characteristics in their personality, but so the trait theory here could explain the criminal history. It explains that it's a family criminal history. It says that it is a measurement of habitual patterns of behavior, thought, and emotion. So it just measures this is how my dad felt about certain situations. I'm feeling the same thing. My dad used to murder people. I'm more likely going to do it as well. I don't believe that biological factors is a good reason to, focus on why individuals commit crimes. I think it's more of a psychological factors, but the biological factors might play a part into it. So we shall continue. So what is home detention overall? So home detention consists of being detained without actually being in prison. An individual will be monitored using electronic devices and other tests, for example, drug tests. There is an estimate that 4.5 million adults are under supervision. That is a lot of people. There are many millions of individuals that are under community supervision. Most of these individuals have already served most of their sentence in prison and are finishing out their sentence in home detention. It's just an easier way for them to get back into the community without hitting that wall of, oh my gosh, where am I going? How am I going to integrate back to the community? It's an easier way for them to transition. So yes, I continue. So why home detention? So according to one of my sources, Ruback and Bergstrom, they argue that there are three distinct reasons for the use of economic sanction, which are the top half: to punish offenders, to deter criminal offending, to restore justice principles. So that is the base of all sanctions. in prison and not in prison. That's just the pace. That's what we want. That's what we want for every sanction to basically base their programs around. But it's not always that. That's not always the outcome. The bottom three that I have here, it states that, I use this website called US Legal, and it basically stated that the other types of reasons why home detention is becoming more popular are these three. And it says it's decreasing of the overpopulation in prisons, reducing reoffending, rising cost. I believe those three are the most that are the three that sanctions are focused on. They just don't want the overpopulation. They don't want the rising cost. And the reducing reoffending, I mean, some sanctions could help that, but not all. It depends on the individual. It depends on the offender. It depends on the program. It depends on, how the individual will react to the program. It all has their own little flaws and stuff like that. But I do believe that the bottom three are the ones that sanctions are based more around than the top three. So this graph here shows the amount of individuals that are on home detentions from the years 2000 to 2013. This graph right here is the most current statistics that I have found. I've researched ours, and this is the one that was more up to date. It said that home detention is becoming more popular, and in the year 2013, it showed that there were almost 5 million individuals on home arrest or home detention, and that is a lot, and I believe it's just kind of increasing throughout the years. Home detention versus recidivism. Does it work? Although home detention is becoming more popular, it is not 100% effective, and I believe that 100%. Individuals in these programs are still likely to reoffend, and they are. They don't take it seriously. I personally believe that home detention is a waste of time, and the individuals will reoffend anyways because their punishment is not served enough. They don't believe it's their punishment was as rough, so they will continue to do it. Electronic monitoring had less of an impact on violent offenders than on sex and property and drugs and other types of offenders. However, the effect remains statistically significant. Electronic monitoring reduces recidivism, but these results are not universal. It just depends on the person, depends on the crime, stuff like that. All right, so these statistics, they basically say that these are offenses. Okay, so my graph here shows that 85% of offenders are successfully completed the program, the home detention program. 69% of them were rearrested shortly after they were released. That there proves home detention does not work. They will still be incarcerated, whether it is after a year, whether if it's after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, it will still happen. They are not 100% rehabilitated. They will continue to reoffend. They will continue to recommit recidivism, and it will never stop until they have either are in jail for the rest of their lives, or they realize, yeah, this is not the path I want to continue to take. I need to continue in the right direction, and with home detention, that's not what it will show them. So it does say that offenders with prior convictions are 121% more likely to have their parole revoked. They're bad. They're always going to be bad unless they 100% commit to wanting to change. The offenders have to decide that. The courthouse can't, the judge can't, they can't decide, hey, you are going to change, whether you like it or not. No. The offender has to decide, and they will continue to commit crimes no matter what, and putting them on home detention is not going to help. They won't see a punishment. It's just, I was able to dodge going to prison or jail, but I'm good, I'm out, I'm at home, I'm sleeping in my bed, I'm fine, So, alright, criminal offenses during home detention. I looked for hours and hours and hours trying to find what are the criminal offenses that are committed during home detention, so I can have a better idea what type of individuals are going into home detention and why their home detention is getting revoked, and I could not find anything. There was nothing online, nothing in journals or books. Are the reasons why, the offenders are getting their home detention revoked. But I did list a few based on, the people that I know that have gotten their home detention revoked. And it's basically, the curfew. They violated their curfew, the electric monitoring. They messed with it. They cut it or something. They were doing drugs. This is a huge one. They do drugs. They post it everywhere. And for some reason, probation officers never realize it, never find out. And, they just violate little rules that the court or the judge put in place. But yeah, I did look for hours to find a list, and I never found anything. Okay, so there are many type of challenges that come to surface while on home detention. For example, the monitors may fail and send a signal saying that the individual has violated the home detention. This may raise many legal problems. I mean, technology isn't perfect, so it might fail, and the judge, the court will never know other than the offender, and knowing the place the offender is, they're not really going to believe them. But other individuals might find having a criminal in their home, embarrassing. They don't want them there. It just leads to many other problems that between the offender and the other co-residents within the home. They just find it a burden. So home detention interrelates with other systems. So work must be approved by the judge and the court. They can go to work, but everything has to be approved by the court. If the court says no, you can't do that, we don't like that, we don't like the environment you're in, then no, they're not allowed to go in there and do that. So it just kind of depends. As I said before, individuals that live with these criminals, they find it as a burden, they find it as an embarrassment. They don't want to live with a detainee having, governmental control in their home. It just strains their social interactions. It's just bad overall for other co-residents. So here's just a list of theories that I believe why offenders commit crimes. I mean, there are biological, psychological, but there's just two more there that I believe are really important. I don't believe that either or is the exact reason why individuals commit crimes, and this is it, this is the theory. No, each theory plays their little plan. Each theory has their own little factor with why individuals commit crimes. So, my conclusion. I keep putting my notes in the camera, I'm sorry. Nobody knows the exact reason why individuals commit crimes, obviously, as I have said that before. Although research does point in the direction that home detention does not work, decreasing recidivism, I believe that in the following factors are presented that it may be more effective than just forcing any offender to do it. Offenders should have a choice. They should be like, yeah, I want to change. I am done with this life. I want to be better. And they should go into like a rehabilitation program and then eventually get put on home detention. And I believe that will work for them. I don't believe that people just being forced into home detention, I don't think that home detention will be good for them. I don't think that it will help. I don't think that they will benefit from it. It's just gonna cause maybe more issues and stuff like that. I mean, home detention could work with more stricter supervision. I believe that individuals that are mostly young will benefit more from home detention if home detention has more stricter supervision. If the officers come check on them more, if they're really getting like watched and monitored closely, if they're not just at home doing whatever they want, that they aren't just, doing drugs and doing stuff to make sure that it doesn't appear in drug tests and stuff like that. So home detention does have many benefits, but I don't believe that they are worth it. My final conclusion is that electronic monitoring home detention program does not reduce recidivism. It does not. Based on my slide here with a graph. It clearly says that 85% of offenders who successfully completed the program, 69% of them were rearrested shortly. That says a lot. It's more than half. And that's probably just, that was, they were released shortly, after a year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. The 5th year, most of them are coming back. So home detention, I believe, is pretty much worthless, and it could work with certain type of people, certain age groups, certain crime groups. It just depends. But that was my home detention presentation.